Hello, and welcome to another Friday Night Scary Stories. Tonight's story is based on a true story. An anonymous poster, just called What's Her Name, posted this story to Jezebel.com. If you have a scary story plot you would like to share with us, please get me on Messenger. And without further ado, we're going to get into tonight's story, which is called On the Streets of Berlin. Back in the late 2000s, I was in my early 20s, living as a broke but happy expat in Berlin. One night, my British roommate and I had been out late seeing a band. Around midnight or 1 in the morning, we started heading home, walking through a quiet central part of the city towards the subway. We were in high spirits, tipsy but not drunk, laughing and talking probably way too loudly as we walked arm in arm. The air was damp and misty, with the yellow glow of the streetlights haloed in fog. A small gust sent dry leaves scuttling across the pavement, and that's when we noticed her. A figure was ahead of us in the mist. From behind, she looked like an elderly woman, stooped over with bags dangling from each hand, dragging one leg heavily with every step. We were just about to pass her when suddenly she cried out in English, though with a thick German accent, "Oh, help! Won't somebody help me?" Her voice didn't sound afraid or vulnerable. It sounded commanding, almost theatrical. My roommate tried to hurry us along, but I slowed. She was old, carrying bags, limping bad. How could I not at least ask? When I did, she said, "Oh, it's my legs. Help me carry the bags. I live just over there." She nodded towards a nearby apartment building. Without thinking, I said, "Of course we'll help." My roommate just sighed, but followed as we each took one of the bags and carried them towards the building. Under the streetlight, I finally saw her face clearly. She looked like she stepped out of a fairy tale, the unsettling kind. Sharp features, a long wart on her nose, strands of gray-white hair spilling from beneath a hood. Heavy, dark wool clothing that seemed to swallow her frame. I nearly recoiled, but I forced myself to be polite. "She's just an old woman," I told myself. "Don't be rude." As we got up to the building, the front door was already ajar, which seemed unusual for that neighborhood. She pushed it open easily, suddenly less frail than she seemed, and held it for me. "Just up the stairs," she said, her voice low and urgent. "Just up the stairs." I froze inside the stairwell, stretched up into the shadows. A flickering fluorescent bulb hummed overhead. At the top of the stairs, a door stood slightly opened. A stale, smoky odor drifted down. Something about the tone in her voice. It wasn't pleading anymore. It was unexpectant, pressing. I felt every hair on my arms rise. Part of me, the well-trained, polite part, thought I should just carry the bags up for her, but another part screamed, "Don't!" I even gave a nervous laugh because the moment felt so much like a cliché from a horror movie that surely it couldn't be real. That's when my roommate snapped. "Oh, hell no!" She grabbed my arm, pulled me back, and marched us down the street. The woman's voice called after us, sharp and disappointed, but we didn't look back, not until we were in the bright, busy subway station. That's when my roommate explained what had chilled her. First, she swore that the woman hadn't been limping all that much until we drew closer. And second, when we were in that doorway, she had a vision, a feeling. She just knew that someone was waiting upstairs, the woman's elderly son, and once that I would have went up there, I would have never came back down. Maybe it was just our imaginations running wild that night, but I never stopped being grateful to my roommate trusting her instincts when mine faltered. Thanks for watching another Friday night spooky campfire story. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. I'll leave a link for last week's story in the description below. If you like this kind of stuff, there's also a playlist of all the Friday night stories. We'll see you again next week.